being in retail is not for everyone. It can break you or it can make you.
Good afternoon, ladies. How are you doing today? Are y'all enjoying the summit? Y'all gotta give me some energy, all right? I know we just ate. The itis might be kicking in a little bit, but we're gonna keep it high and keep it moving today. Again, thank you so much to Sisters Inc. and Black Enterprise for this incredible experience today. As introduced, my name is Aisha Taylor Issa. I'm the founder and CEO of the Sisters in Business Expo and owner of The Sister Shop. We are the country's only multi-city small business expo and community created specifically to celebrate, educate, and empower Black women entrepreneurs with 2 retail locations and an e-commerce destination with over 150 Black women-owned brands. So y'all make sure you stop by and check out our holiday market downstairs because they brought the goods today, okay, baby? But I am so excited to be here today with our incredible panelists, Amira and Nancy, and we are gonna talk about this world of retail. How many of you have ever even considered being in retail? All right, well, y'all are in the right place at the right time, and so we're excited to have this conversation. So I'm gonna turn it over to our panelists, starting with Nancy and Amira. Please tell us a little bit more about you and your organizations, and we'll take it from there.
Awesome. Well, this is a beautiful room, so give yourselves a hand. I love seeing all of these powerful women gathered together. I am Nancy Dalton, and I lead the Community Partnerships Impact and Experience Division of Amazon Access. And it is really just about that. How do we provide access to all of the various products and services that Amazon has to bear for our community? And so I feel like that's a really great opportunity for me. And so what me and my team do is go across the country to actually provide these access opportunities, particularly as it relates to different programs that are cultivated to uplift our community. And the one that we're gonna spend a lot of time talking about today is our Black Business Accelerator program.
Thank you. Amira?
Hi, everyone. My name is Amira Al-Sul. I am the founder and CEO of The Folklore, which is a platform providing consumer goods brands with resources to grow their business and be able to collaborate with global partners. So basically, our software and marketplace helps these brands be able to sell wholesale to different retailers, and it allows retailers to be able to go on to our platform and discover and shop them. So we work with different retailers like Crate & Barrel, Shopbop, Bergdorf Goodman, Nordstrom, and we specifically focus on helping them find diverse brands and brands based in emerging markets. So if you go to Nordstrom right now, the New York space, one of the brands we work with, Orire, is now stocked there, and Nordstrom found them and bought them through our platform. You go to Bergdorf Goodman, V. Bellin, a Black-owned jewelry brand, found them through our platform. Now they're being sold there. So we essentially are helping, that 15% pledge that a lot of them took, we're helping them meet that.
Y'all can clap for that. This is incredible work that both of these sisters are doing. With the work you're doing with Amazon Access and the Folklore Group, what do you see as some of the key steps that Black women need to take in order to prepare themselves for retail?
I can start. So I think the first thing needs to be, what's your why? Because being in retail is not for everyone. It can break you or it can make you. And so if your why is, I want to be able to get my, my brand's name out there, and, but I mostly want to focus on direct to consumer, maybe wholesale retail isn't the right thing. Maybe it's just being stocked at a marketplace where, you're able to drop ship and you can focus on your direct to consumer business. But if you're saying, hey, no, I want that wholesale revenue, that consistent wholesale revenue with either big retailers or smaller boutiques, it's a matter of, okay, do you have the capacity? So you have to understand, do you have the manufacturing ability that if Crate & Barrel places a large order, can you fill that? Because you don't want to start off a relationship and not be able to fulfill on the order that's placed. You need to think about, am I pricing my products right? Your direct-to-consumer pricing is not going to be the same as what your wholesale pricing is going to be, but you're going to need to sell it equal. Like if you're selling it on Shopbop for $200, it needs to be on your website for $200. So there are just a lot of things that you have to consider, and I would say, your capability of production as well as your pricing is probably two of the biggest things that I think a lot of people don't consider. Because some people, you're just not priced to sell wholesale, and you just won't have enough margin to be a profitable company selling wholesale.
Awesome.
I echo everything that Amira said, so thank you for that nice tee up. I would also say that, just understand where you are in your journey. There are a lot of ways to enter into retail when you're more nascent and you're trying to figure out if it's for you, versus when you have kind of done a lot of the initial due diligence and you're ready to expand. And so I think it's really important to do your research and your homework. There are a lot of tools out there, particularly with Amazon. We offer some information around like the best-selling products that are out there. You can look at those things and figure out, well, why are those products actually so popular? Is it the price? Is it the quality? Is it the nuance that the particular product is serving for the consumer? And so I think that it is a journey. It's not a destination. And it's constantly evolving. And I think that's the other thing I would say is to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because as soon as you feel like you have your legs under you, it's going to change again. And so as long as you have your why, you can actually navigate some of those uncharted waters.
Thank you. That is so, so good. And as we heard from our audience already, a lot of them have thought about retail and considered it. What are some things that you have found major retailers are looking for when they're choosing and deciding what brands to carry?
Absolutely. So I'll start, from Amazon's perspective, 60% of our business is independent small business sellers. And a lot of people don't know that. Most people think that it's like mostly first party or 1P. And so we believe that our store should be accessible to everyone. But what we look for is, do you have strong selection that consumers want? Are you also thinking about the relevance of how you would bring that selection to your customers? And have you thought about just your service and your brand and how you want to be elevating that brand with every interaction that consumer has with you? And so that's really important to us. We take it very seriously when we have ratings from consumers about products. And all of those things guide the way we think about the health of the sellers that are providing their goods and services on the platform. So again, I would just say the things for us are selection, customer experience, and the overall brand that you're looking to cultivate for the consumer.
I agree with all those points.
I hope y'all taking notes, because those were 3 gems that were really shared.
I would also add, they're looking to see if the brand is a business. I think that's one of the key things that we see, where a lot of the people that come to us to support them on their wholesale journey, they are purely just brands. They're not businesses yet. It might be one person, 2 people, but going back to my previous point, if you do not have the infrastructure to be able to work with them, then they're not going to place an order from you. So they need to have that confidence. And so that's why when retailers are coming to us, we vetted all of the brands in advance so that they know that if we're presenting this brand to you, that means they have the infrastructure set up for them to be able to work with a retailer of that size. So you have to really think about, okay, I know who my customer is. I know I have great designs. I know I can put out 20 pieces in each collection, but do I know my margins? And do I know how to create a line sheet? And do I actually have a sales representative? Do I know when the market dates are? Do I know when that buyer is going to be in town, what trade shows that they're going to be at? It's really about do you have a financial model? Do you have an accountant? You need to have these things set in place, because you can have the best and most beautiful products in the world, but if you do not actually have the capacity to run a business, they're not going to want to work with you, because it's not going to be worth it. Because at the end of the day, they are a business. They're not into just buying pretty things to put it on their websites. They want to receive it, and they want it to sell.
So good. And I'm sure some of our sisters are thinking, well, how do I get there? right? How do I move from being just a brand to a business? How do I position myself for these types of opportunities? The Sister Shop is essentially a gateway. We consider ourselves to be for sisters who are not quite ready for the large corporations and entities, but are looking to get their feet wet in the world of retail. And we work with them through our university to teach and train them. But what are some other things that our sisters can do through your organizations or otherwise to help prepare themselves for these types of opportunities?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start. So in 2021, Amazon launched the Black Business Accelerator. Show of hands, how many people have heard of it? Okay, good. We're making some progress. And so, we're not there yet. Like I said, y'all, it's a journey, not a destination. But the organization committed $150 million over 4 years to invest in Black-owned businesses. And that investment is really to disrupt some of the systemic inequities that exist for gaining access to capital, business mentorship, and just overall support. And so this program seeks to, one, ensure that you have your certification, your designation as a Black-owned business. You may have heard recently with the U.S. Chamber that there's actually a new destination or designation, which is that I'm a certified Black business, not just minority-owned. And so there's a lot of those types of certifications that I think are helpful. And those organizations that provide them actually help you to understand how to change your mental model from being just a brand to a business, like Amira said. But in addition to that, this program will not only provide financial investment for you to make sure that you can start up, we give you an actual coach who works with you for over a year to help you grow your business and answer some of those really hard questions that might come into play as you're looking to launch your business into our virtual retail shelves. In addition, we help you to get your advertising together, take pictures of your product, and really just think through what are some of the challenges that you are facing. Do I, ship my product myself? Do I leverage Amazon's fulfillment? What are the costs associated with those things? And so I think this is really what's been helping people to launch their business within our stores.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I would say to really get started, you want to be able to seek out as much information as possible. And so the way that, the Folklore does that is we host quarterly, sometimes every other month, depends on what our marketing team does that quarter. But we'll host different webinars. And so our last webinar was from the founder of V Bellin, the jewelry brand I mentioned. Vanessa Bellin came in and talked about her experience from joining the Folklore in September, 2022. To that same time, in 2020, around 2023, her now being stocked at Bergdorf's, Shopbop, and Revolve. And she went from having no wholesale relationships to having those 3 retailers. So she talked about her journey. She got really specific. And so that's something that we like to do. It's like, okay, yeah, you might not be ready for the retailers now, but we're going to be able to give you these webinars. We have tons of blog posts that you can read if you go to thefolklore.com that talks about, we have, I think our most recent blog post is about wholesale pricing, what the calculations are. We give you the equations. And it's not just us that has these different types of resources. There are tons of resources out there that specifically focus on wholesale. So I would say really going and learning all of the language. We have a glossary on our platform as well, which basically defines all of the key terms. So like things like MOQs, things like chargebacks. We define all of those wholesale terms that they use so that when you are negotiating or talking to retailers, you can go and seek that out. And so we're also just going to be providing a lot of different resources. I would say in the next, in Q2, we're launching something big. So definitely sign up for our newsletter, and we're going to be able to help you get more tools to help as well.
This is so good, and we will be opening up the floor for questions in just a few minutes. I'm sure you all have seen a lot of experiences and stories with sisters who have gone into the world of retail, some great and maybe some not so great. Let's talk a little bit about those that have not been so great. what have been some of the mistakes that sisters have made, once they even got into it that didn't, have it turn out that well for them that hopefully we can avoid?
I would say there's mistakes like thinking these retailers are going to pay you on time. I think
That
that's
part.
a big mistake.
We pay on time at the sister shop, just so y'all know.
So, if you think that they're going to pay net 30, net 60, and that's what you set up your business for, you are setting up to fail. So do not go into a situation, with just enough money to get you to, day 60, because you're not going to get paid on time. Now, the wonderful retailers that work with us, when they buy through us, they pay on time. But if you're just going at it alone, it's hard because it's like you're a small fish. And so when it comes to prioritizing payment, they're going to go for the bigger brands first and make sure they get their payment, and you're going to left chasing the bag. And I would say that's the biggest thing, is like plan for the unexpected, and don't go into this with just very few resources, because it gets very expensive. And a lot of people won't consider certain costs, and like their first season, they end up actually not making any money. They actually end up losing money fulfilling that wholesale order, not even breaking even, losing money fulfilling a wholesale order. So you don't want to be in that position. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes I've seen.
That's good. Thank you. Nancy?
Yeah, absolutely. I would also say that there's two things that come to mind for me. One is when you start, we always hear that saying, like, consider the cost to build before you build, right? And so when I think about that cost, it's not just about the financial, but it is also the resources that you need in order to start. And it's also the self-care that you need, quite frankly. Oftentimes when you launch into your business and it starts to grow, you're not taking care of yourself in the process, and that then has a knock-on effect to how successful you can be. So I do think that all of those things come into play. For the other aspect that I want to talk about is just that, because the retailer loves your product, wants to get it on the shelves, and it wants it to be ready to scale instantly, that's where people really fall short, right? Because when the orders start coming through and you're not able to produce at the rate and the quality that the retailer is expecting, that's when things go awry. And so really being able to be realistic about what you can stock from an inventory perspective, and what does it take from a infrastructure that you're building as a business to ensure that you're set up for scale.
Yeah, so true. That is actually one of the biggest challenges that we have, is the sisters not being able to keep up with the demand, right? And even at our level, which, we pretty dope, we might not be Walmart or Target, but we definitely have been blessed. And, it's unfortunate when we need more inventory and we can't get it. And so I think that what you both have shared is so true. So we're gonna get ready to open up for questions in just a minute. Before we do, can you share just a little bit more about how our sisters can engage with you and your organizations and stay connected?
Yes, so if you are a brand, we do a bunch of different categories: apparel, accessories, homeware, beauty. We're actually launching wellness, hygiene, and kids and baby next year. So if you have any products that you sell, you can go to thefolklore.com and you can apply to join the platform. And then you can also follow us at The Folklore, and you can follow me at Amira Rasul.
Thank you.
Awesome. So if you're interested in exploring selling on Amazon, you just go to sell.amazon.com. If you're specifically interested in the Black Business Accelerator, you can go directly to that program and get all the information with respect to that. And you can follow me on LinkedIn. I promise you, I accept, and I also correspond.
Awesome. And for me as well, everything is SIB Expo for Sisters in Business Expo. I'm SIB founder on Instagram, and thesistershop.com, and it's SISTAH, thesistershop.com. And again, please be sure to check out the holiday market downstairs. We would love to receive some questions from you all if anyone would like to come up to the microphone. We have a wealth of knowledge and information here on this stage, so I encourage you to take advantage of it while you can. We'd love to open up the floor for a few questions at this time.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kyla Rashada. I thank you, ladies, for being here. Ms. Nancy, I really wanted to just express gratitude. Thank you for mentioning, after all of the wealth of knowledge and information we've received today, I have wanted to ask and not necessarily felt prompted until you mentioned the self-care in business. One thing that has been, I won't even say a struggle, I've really learned to center my business model and also what I require of myself in business around self-care. And so I wanted to, well, again, prioritize, like, I think it's so, romanticized and glorified when your business starts to gain traction and people recognize you and they have higher expectations from you. But when I talk to some of my peers about business, I always step back and say, well, where are you mentally and emotionally? And are you prepared to meet those demands? And so that's been a big conversation and opening up conversation around that. But my question for you is, what do you recommend for when you have gained traction and you are starting to fill orders and meet demands, and then people expect momentum from you? How do you then center yourself and say, wait, let me check in with me? And then what are some maybe tips and tricks to just center yourself?
Absolutely, such a great question. First and foremost, you cannot pour out of an empty cup. Everybody knows that, but I just want to reinforce it. And I think as a Black sister, entrepreneur, CEO, boss woman, it is really difficult for you to juggle all of the things that you're contending with. And so the first thing I would say is always recalibrate expectations with people. It's not about what people expect of you, but what you expect of you. And so remember to center around that. The other thing I would say is we make time for the things that we think are important. You will always say, I don't have time to, just rest today. I don't have time to think about my mental health. Well, you don't have time not to, because if you don't, then your business won't be successful. It just won't. It might run for a while, but you're gonna burn out. And I see a lot of business owners and founders walk away from their business, even, perhaps give their business over to someone else because they're tired. And so I would just encourage you to surround yourself with your sister circle. I know this is a sisters event, because those are the sisters that will be your fear fighters, and they will the sisters that will pull your coattail and say, you need a break, sis. You need a nap, whatever the situation may be. And I think that, you will have that situation as you continue to grow your business, no matter what situation or context you're dealing with.
Awesome. We can go to the next question. Thank you.
Hello, hello. So my question pertains to, actually it's directed to Nancy, as we speak about minority women-owned businesses and those certifications. Can we elaborate exactly what does that mean? Because what I'm noticing and experiencing speaking to my circle of sisters is that you get all these ladies. How many of us are certified, MWBEs? All right, a lot of us. So there are opportunities that, folks are saying, get certified, get that certification, get that next certification. But where are the visible, tangible opportunities with contracting with corporations such as Amazon or even government agencies? So can we talk about that, the hurdle with actually getting the certification and actually getting the opportunity? Thank you.
That's a great question. And I'm gonna, of course, invite you, Amira, into this as well. So I can speak on it with the context of Amazon. And so I will tell you that many people come to us to sell in our stores and they don't have a certification. And so the first thing we'll say is, have you interacted with the Small Business Association? Have you interacted with the U.S. Black Chambers? Have you interacted with, what's the other one that escapes me right now? Yes. Because your certification is your price for entry, right? If you don't have it, then you're already at a different disadvantage. So that's step one. But then step two is looking for where you can have a stronger launch pad because you've worked through your network of people who have said, hey, I've been successful here, so you may want to try this piece out. So for example, with selling on Amazon, as long as you can show that you are at least 51% Black owned, and that you're selling in the US, you are automatically in the Black Business Accelerator program. It's not a huge hurdle to get there, and then you're assigned that coach, and that person begins to work with you. We have a lot of people who come to us who don't have the certification. We help them do that through our supplier gateway as well. So I would say for us, we've built the mechanisms that as soon as you have the certification, helps you to get your product into our virtual retail shelf. But I recognize that some people, it's not that easy, and so I'd offer, Amir, if you have any other thoughts, or Aisha.
Honestly, I couldn't even help you with that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know much about the certification part.
I think that, we view certification as another avenue to grow and expand your brand, right? Like as for me, I'm not trying to cut off any ways to sell, right? And so just like if I needed, a certification as an esthetician or, anything else, I want to expand my window of opportunity. And so the certification is just that. Does it necessarily mean, A plus B equals C? If I get this certification, then boom, I'm about to get $1 million contract? Maybe not, but it gives me the eligibility to do so. And so I never want to be in a position where I am X'd out because I don't have what I need. Yes. And so I'm going to get what I need and prepare myself so that when the opportunity comes, they can't say, well, you didn't get it because you didn't have this. Tell me why I really didn't get it. Right? Because I'm eligible. And so it's all to me about just making sure that you're eligible, having everything that you need, and then applying for those contracts because they are out there. There are funds set aside just for persons who have those eligibility certifications. So it's, it's about doing the work and just, pushing through. Thank you. That was a great question, though. Yes.
Hi. First, thank you for offering this valuable amount of information for free.
That part.
Just saying. These things are usually not free, so I just wanted to say thank you for that. My question is, I am a handmade clothing brand, and I always wrestle with giving up the quality that my hand gives in order to expand. So is there avenues to go into retail where you're just going into, say, a very small boutique? Like, I don't want to be in Macy's, and I don't want my brand necessarily manufactured in China. I would like to be able to keep the same level that I've offered for the last 10 years, but be able to have somebody buy it in a store.
Yes, of course. I actually think that's the way to do it. Because honestly, like most small businesses, that's where they are selling, in these small boutiques. Like if you think about it, like Nordstrom and Macy's, they might have a couple hundred brands, but there's hundreds and thousands of brands out there. And so I think if that's what you want for your business, that's what you should focus on, and don't let anybody convince you that you need to be in this store and be in that store, because a lot of the places that I purchase from, I'm going into those small boutiques to find those like emerging brands that I would have never heard of before. And they also are very collaborative. So when you work with smaller boutiques, they know their customers really well. And so they'll be able to give you that one-to-one feedback of like, this is a style that's selling really well. You can collaborate and do exclusive capsules with them. Most of the time they buy very small. They might get 6 or 7 styles. They might buy 1 of each size or 2 of each size. So it's manageable. So it really ends up being a partnership that you won't be able to have with a larger retailer. Because you now have this relationship with the one-to-one, like smaller boutique. So I would say, especially if that's one of your designs, yes, go put that in a boutique because it is beautiful. And whatever boutique you put it in, let me know. And honestly,
buy it online now. I sell them online.
I know that's right. Plug your
on our
stuff.
platform, you can work with smaller boutiques, so it's not just for larger retailers. And so that's like one of the biggest things for us. We're like, don't just come on here trying to get stocked at a big store. Like there's a nice business that you can make with having a dozen small boutiques. And if you're really trying to get your foot in the door, go to some of the local boutiques that that sell similar brands, and come in and introduce yourself and say, hey, this is my brand, wear something, that represents the brand, and say, hey, like, would you at least try with like consignment first? And then like, if it does well, let's get into wholesale. Like, that's some of the first brands that we got into stores before like I got a team and stuff is because I went into the store, met the owner and was like, hey, these are some like cool brands. Will you stock them? And they were like, we'll try it out.
Okay, thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We are, I'm sorry, out of time for questions. I can do one more? All right. Thank you. I love a little grace. We got time for one more. Come on, sis.
Hello, happy holidays. My name is, thank you. My name is Crystal Allen, and I'm also Miss North USA for the pageant title holders. But I have a layered question. How do you find affordable space for your business to function? And how do you select your charitable giving? I know Amazon used to have Amazon Smile, but is there an alternative? Because I do lead a growing nonprofit, which is a registered 501c3. It's called Eyes Like Mine, Inc., and we do a lot to bring awareness to vision loss and vision loss resources. So I just want to know, what are some of those responses? How do you know that it's a great space to get all of that great energy for your business to thrive? How do you find affordable places? And how do you select a charitable giving option?
I can take part one. Yeah, I'll take part one. So we're virtual, so we actually don't have a physical space, but we do have a space that people can go into. It's like a co-working space down actually in the financial district. And honestly, we picked it because it was woman-owned. So we liked kind of like having that vibe and knowing that our money was going towards a woman-owned business. And then also like aesthetics matter. Like you want to be able to know that when you're going in there, like even the smells, like, there's greenery on the wall, the textures of like the furniture, all of that stuff I feel like really matters. And I think that a lot more co-working spaces and stuff are being intentional about that. So it's either if you're going into a co-working space, being able to go and find things like that, or if you're getting your own space, being able to like get into, there's like little places where you can actually get offices within those co-working spaces too, and then be able to put those types of like elements into that office space as well. But also virtual is great, and you can always just make your room feel like that, and send some money to like your teammates and allow them to decorate and make their rooms and whatever office that they're working in feel like that.
Awesome. So on the philanthropic giving, I will tell you there's no real like blueprint or black print, whichever one you want to use. But what I would say is at Amazon, and specifically Amazon Access, we're looking to partner with nonprofits that are doing that really important work on the front lines of addressing the needs of marginalized communities, right? And those needs are along the social determinants of health, whether it be economic mobility, health and wellness, food access and security. We have some right now needs pillars that guide how we think about investment. And I would just say like link in to get the word out about the nonprofit that you have and the work that you're doing. And that's where it starts, right? Just understanding what that impact is that you're having and how a partnership would help you go further in that mission.
Thank you. In terms of space, a whole lot of prayer and a whole lot of negotiation. So all I can tell you, I believe that where God leads, God provides. And so we have been blessed with 2 amazing spaces. They ain't cheap, but we still there. So y'all keep coming, and we'll keep creating spaces for Black women in business. Thank you so much to Nancy and to Amira for this incredible opportunity.